Yeah, Mother's Day. Gold. "67 years ago today, Mother's Day, 1951. My daddy was an alcoholic, and I guess him and Mama got married in 1940 or 41. I was born in 41. Daddy's drinking was real bad, and he worked at a shipyard building ships at Newport News in Portsmouth, Virginia. We lived in Norfolk. He come home drunk on Mother's Day one night, and him and Mother got into an argument about something. He was breaking dishes and stuff, and there was 5 of us kids. I was the oldest, and I had a sister right under me by a year, and then a brother that's under me by 2 years. And then there was 2 younger ones, Michael and Joe. They was born, I think, 47 and 48 or 49. I'm not sure. But there was 5 of us, and Daddy passed out on the living room floor. And Mama left, went somewhere, and she come back with a man, Bob Folks. I guess she'd been having an affair with him, I don't know. But her and him had us pack us some clothes in some little paper bags, and we left in his car. And I didn't know where we was going or what was going on. I was the oldest. And but they was headed to Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. That's where my grandmother on my daddy's side lived and my grandmother on my mama's side lived. And they went to my grandmother on my grandmother's side's house and tried to get grandmama and granddaddy to take me and Carolyn and George, we was the 3 oldest, and said they would be back in a few days to get us. But they wouldn't take us. They said, "No, you're going somewhere, you take them all." And so, headed over to Grandmama Pearson's, my daddy's mama, house, which is across town, was out in the country. And they pulled up in the yard and told us to take our bag, our little paper bags with the clothes, the 3 oldest, me, Carolyn, and George, and to go knock on the door, and they'd be back in a few days and get us. And with that, we got out and headed to the door, and as quick as Grandmama come to the door, this was like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, they took off. Didn't say nothing to Grandmama or nothing, and of course right there we was in our little paper bags with our clothes. And We didn't see Mama no more for 2 or 3 years after that. We didn't know where she's at. But when we was driving from Norfolk, Virginia to Roanoke Rapids, her and Bob, that was the man she's with, which later on was my stepfather, started talking about what they couldn't take all of us. He said, we're going to take the babies. So I'm sitting there, and George is sitting there. We're both awake. And Carolyn, she's just sleeping. And they was talking about what to do with us and everything. And like, you know, I remember thinking, are they going to kill us and drop us somewhere in the woods or on the side of the road? I actually thought that. But that wasn't the case. But anyway, she left us. I was 10 years old. 10 years old, and Mama was gone, and I loved my daddy and everything, but he was an alcoholic, you know, and it was different. If I was going to be one of them was going to leave, I'd rather it been Daddy, but Mama took off. I ain't never forgot that, you know. It just, we was passed around, you know. One of Daddy's sisters took George, and she was raising him, and I'm not sure which aunt or uncle took Carolyn. And he tried to take care of us, you know, and stuff, and send us to school and everything, but it was very difficult. And in summer, it was a given, we'd have to go with the aunts and uncles. They all had farms. We had to work out in them fields. And I remember sometimes, you know, I don't remember what it was. It had to have been soybeans or cotton. One of them that I was, you know, when they plant that stuff, and you got to go out and keep the weeds chopped out. And I don't mean this just a little bitty garden. I mean these is fields. You almost couldn't see the other end of the row. And you'd have to get in a row, and you work that row all the way down to the end, then come back on the other row and go back to the end, and there was a spring down there at the end of the row, and you'd get refreshed, get you some water and stuff, then you'd hit it again, come back. I remember doing that and looking out there in the old dirt roads running by there, and the cars would come by. And sometimes I was wishing that it'd be Mama coming to get me. But never was. She never come to get us. 3 years later, she did take me and Carolyn. She never took George. George was with Rosa May. I always thought George had it made because he had some resemblance of family life there, but he said he was treated like a slave. I don't know. But finally we went to Jacksonville, Florida. That's where they was at. I don't know how that got arranged or whatever. But we was back and forth then, you know, from Mama to Daddy and Mama to Daddy, and never worked out. Never worked out. I just can't imagine dumping your kids. I wouldn't even do it. She's 47, and there ain't no damn way I'd dump my kid. I had a son too, but he died in '86, car car and a bus wreck, really. But I just can't comprehend taking, if you got 5, that'd be like me taking my daughter and my son from their mother and deciding I could only keep one and take one and dump them somewhere on somebody. And I don't believe I could have even done it if I had 10 kids. I wouldn't be dumping none of them. I just never have understood that. I've always held that against my mama. She died last year. And of course, we didn't have any relationship going on. How the hell I get off on this? And the funny thing is, the older I get, the more I'm not mad. I don't know if I'm hurt. I'm just dumbfounded by it all. And I just know that from the time I was 10 on, I never had a stable family life. You know, I was either with my daddy or with my mama, and a couple of times I'd run away, and nobody ever looked for me. You know, if I run away, they'd just say, well, we don't know where he's at. Oh, man, I just can't wrap my head around that. I just can't do it. You know, and here now, I'm here with me and my daughter lives together with her 3 sons, and they're my grandsons. And I get upset if they're gone somewhere for an hour, and I don't let the little one, he don't go nowhere like that unless I'm with him. The one that just turned 18, I'm having a difficult time. He's getting ready to move out. He's got involved with this girl. I tell you what, that's the worst. He had everything on the ball till this girl got in the picture. I guess he still does. I don't know. I'm not selling him short, but I can't understand why. I don't want him to let that girl get in the way of his college education, him being a doctor and all that stuff. And I like the girl and everything, but I just don't like the way it's going. They moved much too fast. He's been knowing this girl since middle school. And then my oldest, Donovan, he's 27 or 28. He's the one me and my wife raised from the time he was born. He has cerebral palsy, not real bad, but enough to affect how he thinks and stuff, you know. And like he graduated from high school, but he was 21 when he graduated. It took him that long to complete high school. And I think he could only go another year before he aged out, and they wouldn't allow him to go to school there. But he's on disability, so he ain't going nowhere, and I worry about him. I don't know, life's a funny thing. I ain't crying about it. I'm just thinking about it a lot lately. And of course, every Mother's Day I think about it anyway. Like now, it's been 67 years ago today. Well, tonight about 9 o'clock is when it'll be 67 years that happened. Hell, one night when Daddy had me and Carolyn, he was drunk, and I guess he went out to get some more liquor or something and left a cigarette burning, and the sofa caught on fire. And the fire department came and everything, and we was there by ourselves. And hell, we didn't know where Daddy was at, and they took us, put us in the foster home. My memory's not as good. George was there too. It was all three of us. We wound up in a foster home for a few days before they let us go back home. People, you don't, crap. I need to get busy on my stuff here. Jesus Christ, I don't need to be thinking about this. I don't need to be thinking about this. Oh. Get off on this stuff. Mine's a funny thing. I hope I don't have to do this a stranded a damn time. I hope